Hey YouTubers, Aberfarth here again. This is just to do a update kind of review on my Spikes Tactical AR-15. I made some modifications to it, just some updates, wanted to cover those. You know, one other thing I wanted to say is I've gotten a lot of good information from a number of folks with excellent videos on YouTube, and this is just kind of my way of saying thanks and, you know, a little bit of payback, help some other new guys coming on board. What I wanted to also talk about is a little bit about the audience. You know, this is really kind of aimed at guys that are maybe looking at building an AR or thinking about one, or maybe have one and are looking at some new accessories, you know. So basically, you know, why did I, you know, select an AR-15? Number one's fun. Very, very fun to shoot. In terms of a centerfire ammo, it's still relatively, you know, priced okay that you can actually afford to shoot it. Secondly is I will hunt with this rifle as well. Varmint hunting. I know some of you might say, hey, wait a second, there's no optics on this yet. But I have other weapons for longer range. This is to be used in some of the areas I hunt in with thicker brush, more forested areas, anywhere from 25 to 100 yards. And iron sights will clearly get the job done for me, you know, in that range. So you know, I use it for hunting as well. Thirdly is this is my secondary home defense weapon. My primary home defense weapon is a Glock 22, and that's what's going to come out, you know, when the glass breaks, kind of a thing. But as a secondary home defense weapon, if it's a little bit more intense, if I felt there was multiple intruders, this is coming out. Everything I have, there's a specific reason for that. And then lastly is, you know, if we wind up, you know, in a where we actually lose the rule of law, that is, let's just simply said the police department cannot respond for a period of maybe 24 to 96 hours. I think that would be a reasonable type of risk that we run. Then this weapon will become the primary defense weapon, and you know, you kind of lock down the home basically, and I'll have this slung 24/7 for the most part. So anyway, just real quickly here, safety check. I can drop the mag, lock the bolt back. You can see in here it's got a clear chamber. There's no round in the mag. So real quickly here, Spikes Tactical, 1 and 7 twist barrel, 16-inch barrel, mid-length handguard. It's performed fantastic. In fact, that's really the first update I'm going to do is in regards to what I've actually been able to do with it, and that is simply get it out, get some range time in with it. Probably fired about 300 rounds. It's not a lot, but about 300 rounds to it so far. There hasn't been any malfunctions whatsoever. I want to talk a little bit about what I'm shooting through it. You know, this is real common. This is simply 223, 55 grain, full metal jacket, American Eagle. This is basically the cheap stuff. This is what I consider. I don't really shoot any steel, you know, ammo through this gun in terms of a steel casing. You can. I just don't do that. But this is my kind of cheap, inexpensive, that 223 round in 55 grain. That's, by the way, performed just fine. No issues there. And that's an inexpensive, easy to shoot ammo. Next ammo is basically your full 5.56 ammunition. That's just the difference in the loading, a little bit more power in the load, still a 55 grain bullet, and again, that's shot just fine. The 1 and 7 twist barrel, basic rule of thumb is the faster the twist, the heavier grained bullet that you can shoot. So that's where I want to gravitate to, and the next step here is, this is made by Silver State Armory. I think I have some here. This is a 64 grain bullet, so I don't know that you can really pick this up but on the camera, but this is a 5.56 55 grain full metal jacket, that typical, you know, XM 193 ammo, very common. This is a 64 grain bullet. It's got a soft tip on it, and the bottom, what you basically happens is this bullet is just a little bit fatter. It's really not any longer, but it's just a heavier grain bullet. Now we compare that then lastly with a 75 grain hollow point match bullet. Now this is made by PPU. It's a Serbian ammunition, And I fired this through this weapon as well. And if you, again, I'm not sure if you can actually see that, but the bullet is slightly longer. It's, again, heavier with a hollow point. That's a 75 grain match hollow point round. This ammunition fires to this gun without any issues whatsoever. And this basically is my home defense ammunition. I put a number of them on stripper clips, and I can load into the magazines real easily. So the update on ammunition and the mechanics of the gun in terms of performance. Again, about 300 rounds through it, no misfires of any kind. It shoots accurate with all these rounds, and I won't get into accuracy because that's, you know, everyone's different. How are you shooting? At what range? There's a million, you know, variables to take into consideration, but I do like this 75 grain hollow point ammunition. All right, so some of the cosmetics. Some of it was cosmetics, but everything is driven by a purpose. So one of the things you might notice right away is I put on a new Magpul MOE mid-length handguard. Now, just for reference purposes, this is basically your, you know, more traditional model. This is what came with the Spikes Tactical Upper. You know, more of an oval type shape, real traditional. Nothing wrong with this. The quality of this is excellent. Aluminum, you know, heat shield inside. I just simply took that off. And Magpul came out with their mid-length MOE handguard. I put that on. Again, two-piece. It's a little fat on the bottom. Not fat as in too fat, just a little fat. And then, you know, narrow up top. I've heard, you know, compared to maybe like the FAL type handguard. There's adapters that you can put a rail system on the sides. On the no, not on the top. On the sides, as well as on the bottom. Okay. I like it. I think it looks good. The price was fantastic, and this is one of the first modifications I did. Just again, I like the feel of it a little bit better. I also like the look of it a little bit better, and the ability to put rails on either side or on the bottom. The things that come to mind will be most likely a flashlight here, and then if I so desire, just a vertical hand grip on the bottom. That'll work out real well. I also wanted a new hand grip. Now, I meant to bring that hand grip out, but I didn't. The stock A2 hand grip, again, nothing wrong with it, except it's got grooves in here, or, you know, positioning for your hand and fingers, and I did not like that. I like to grip it as high as possible and let my fingers lie naturally on the handle. And with that pre-molded finger piece, one of my knuckles rode right up on top of it. I did not like it. I like this a lot. It happens to fit my hand really well. As many of you know, there's many manufacturers of hand grips. I think they're all probably pretty good. What I actually did was I looked online, I read some reviews, but more importantly, I went into a couple of stores where I could actually feel this particular hand grip on an AR, as well as, you know, a couple of other brands as well. And I went ahead and decided to go with this. Okay. Then the next thing I put on was you know, you need a sling. Okay. You know, and you can talk a lot about various types of slings. This happens to be a single point, as you can see. You know, you could go with the 2-point or a 3-point sling. There's good things to say about all of them. Here's my position on it. I wanted a sling that I could throw the gun on, hang the gun if I needed, and have access to a secondary weapon. That's what the single point does for me. I don't have to worry about any configuration of it, moving it around, what have you. Now, when I go hunting, I'll just simply stick on a 2-point so I can carry it, you know, easily over my shoulder. I mean, that seems to be the simple solution. Just a kind of a shout out to AIM Surplus. It's where I've been buying some ammo from. That's where I got this slap plate. This is made by a company called I Kick Hippies. Now, you know, you got to laugh. What's not funny about that? I Kick Hippies. So I looked at it online. This was kind of a gamble. It was like $20, so I bought it. And I mean, I'm very pleased with this the slap plate here. It allows me to, you know, put the sling on, take it on and off without any problem. There's nothing that moves around here to make any noise or anything. What I found was this sling adapter is all steel. It's all one piece. There's no welding involved. There's no edges to grab. It's all finished very, very well. I did not need to do anything to it. I didn't feel like I needed even to take any sandpaper, steel wool, or anything to it. Nice and smooth. And it took me about 5 minutes to put this piece on. The single point sling, again, this from AIM Surplus. They don't tell you who the manufacturer is, so I kind of took a gamble on it. But I've gotten exceptional quality things from them, and I had a high confidence level. And by the way, I don't work for them. I mean, they're just in another state. It's just a place I've ordered stuff from. But everything I've ordered has come on time and in top-notch quality. This particular single point, I couldn't be more pleased with it. Again, $19.95, no tax, free shipping, okay? It's a bungee, a single point. 1.5 inches. It fits nice and tight around my torso, and then this bungee portion just hangs straight down. I can detach the weapon and just let it fall straight down, and it, or push it to one side or the other. But I do like this single point sling quite a bit. So that was kind of my final deal on the gun. Flip it over to see the other side here. But so that's it. That's just my update here. The last thing I'll most likely do is, again, look into some optics, but that's in a whole nother story. I mean, you got to look at exactly what you need it for, what you're gonna, what your use is, what your price range is, and go from there. I have my eye on a couple of different options for the optics, and once I do that, I'll probably throw up a video on that, whether it's good or bad, and let you know what my feelings are on the optics. But the way this gun is set up for me is I can take it hunting. I feel comfortable, extremely comfortable, up to 100, maybe 150 yards, iron sights. It's a Magpul, BUIS, by the way. But in addition to that, this can be operated, from a self-defense standpoint, home defense, or we lose the rule of law for a short period of time. This will be my self-defense weapon as well. The way I feel like I have it configured in terms of options, in a variety of different magazines. Magpul mags, I just love them. There's no reason for me to buy any other kind of magazine. It's configured and it's set up, and in my opinion, it's done. There's nothing else I need to do to it other than, play, and I use that term, loosely, but play with some various optics. So anyway, I hope that this is helpful to a couple of guys out there. I spent hours and hours researching this stuff, looking at it, feeling it, utilizing it, and ultimately, shooting it. And again, thanks for your time. I'm happy to answer back to any comments you may have. But definitely a plus up, a plus again to spikes. Now that I have more rounds down range, it's definitely working out real well. To the Magpul products, again, not tied to them, but I like the value proposition that they bring. And then, definitely check out AIM Surplus, because, man, I tell you, I order something, I get an immediate email that says they got my order, followed up by another email saying they've shipped it, and, 3 days later, it's at the door. So, anyway, we've had excellent results with them. So, thanks, and stay safe out there.